The top three headline stories were for Fox News: Biden addressing the nation, he will finish term. MSNBC: History in your hands, Biden delivers Oval Office address on his exit from 2024 race. BBC: Biden says it's time to pass the torch to Harris. Why do you think these stories are at the top? For one, it's the president addressing the nation, so that's going to be the biggest headline. But also, it's a historical moment for America. I mean, Biden is backing out of the race, and he's also not just addressing one party during this speech, he's addressing all of America. Like, there's not many times that Americans come together and our political views don't, butt heads. But in this way, it's just us as a nation being addressed by our president. So that's always a big deal, too. And the ways that my headlines I read earlier were all the same is they're all about a historical speech President Biden addressed to the nation. Also, each of the headlines is a fragment of the speech and the parts that they found critical in it. So, each news channel just broke down like the section that they wanted to report on and they found important. So the similarity in that is that it's all about the speech. What differences? So from the headlines I read in the beginning, these are all the differences. This is like a summary of each of them, so it just shows how they're different. Fox is reporting specifically about the part of the speech where Biden is speaking about how honored he is to have been in the Oval Office and his final advice to Americans for the future ahead of us, and kind of encouraging us, like, we got this, like, don't give up, like, keep your vision for America. So the theme really here in this article from Fox was gratitude and hopefulness for our future as Americans, from our president. So it's more of a emotional article or an article about his emotions towards it. MSNBC is a report about the headline in a more outside looking in way. It's opinionated, and it speaks about how Biden's speech was received by this writer. It's not direct content involving like specific facts. It's not really quoting much of the speech at all. It's just the way that this writer felt when watching it. And the writer says at the end of it that Biden doesn't look like a man who has been defeated, but a man who has finally faced reality. But then concludes with Biden promised to always be honest with the USA, and the writer said they felt a bit gaslit by that. So it focuses on specifically like a voter's point of view, which is different from the Fox because, the Fox is more emotional, but it has factual stuff in it. This one is opinion. And the BBC headline focuses on the political statements directly from the speech about the race for presidency and his endorsement for Harris, as well as his reminder to the people what makes the Democratic Party strong, but also why Americans should not allow Trump in office again. There's no sentimental reflections at the closing, it's just political. So unlike the other two, that Fox was emotional, and then MSNBC was opinionated, and the BBC, the headline is focused on just his political statements in it and closing.